Hello and welcome back to another exciting tutorial. In today's video, we have an Excel file with 3 different tabs with different information for an order. In our first tab, there is order data. We have some basic order information like order date, total amount. Then in customer name, we have customer name, customer city. Keep in mind that in all of these tabs, we have the order number as a common value. In product name, we have the product name, category and quantity. What we would like to do is to merge all of these 3 different files or tabs into one big table with all of these columns in one table. So for example, if I do this here, this will merge here. Keep in mind that the merge will be based on the order number. So for example, if we don't have the same order number here, so you can see we don't have order number 65 here, which means that order number 65 will be missing here and it will be somewhere down here if the data is available. So without further ado, let me remove these columns and let's jump over to VS Code. So I have empty Jupyter notebook created. Let's start coding. So as always, our first line is import pandas SPD. In next code block, let's declare the file location. So if your file and your code are in different directories, you would have to declare the full file location. Otherwise, you can just give the file name of the file and it should work. Next, we will read 3 different data frames. So one for the main data frame, second for customer information, and third for the product information. Keep in mind, we will use pd.readxl, give the location of the file, that is in location main file, this variable. Engine is OpenPyXL and the sheet name. This will be our distinct factor in each of these 3 codes, which will determine what tab to load. So let's run these and let's see if we have our correct tab loaded. So you can see we have our first data frame loaded with order information. Next, let's load in the customer information. So we do the same thing, and in sheet name we just add cust name, which was the customer name or the tab name. So let's run it and you can see we have the customer information in our data frame df_cust. Let's load in our last data frame. This data frame contains our product information, so we would select the sheet name appropriately. Sheet name was product name. Let's load it and you see we have the product information in this data frame as well. Alright, so a simple way of going about this would be to merge the data frames one by one as many times as we need. So for example, if we have 3 data frames, we would do one merge of this data frame with this one, and then we will do another merge of the same data frame with this one, and we get our final results. Well, this works fine, but if you have more than 4 or 5 data frames to merge on same column, this will become very difficult. So let me comment this out and we will use another technique, that is using reduce with lambda from functools library of Python. Alright, so let's import reduce from functools and let's start adding the code. So first thing we'll do is we will declare a new list which will house our name of data frames which we need to merge together. So our data frame names are df_main, df_cust and df_prod for product. Next, we will declare a new data frame, so let's call it df_merged. This is a new data frame because we don't want to overwrite any of these data frames, we just want to create a new data frame. So let's use reduce. So as soon as we type reduce, let's see what reduce uses. So it accepts a function, so let's give it a function. So let's call it lambda. So we'll add lambda left and right. What reduce basically does is it applies a function repeatedly. So it will repeatedly apply merge to these data frames. So in first iteration it will take df main as left, df cust as right, and then it will take the merged data frame as left and df prod as right. So basically it will continuously apply the function of merge until all of the data frames are merged. So start adding more code. So we add pd.merge and here we will give left and right, that is our merge. On will be order number. So if you see above, you can see order number is the common column in all of these data frames. And finally we give how as left, which is the merge type. So basically we want to retain all of the values from left table, look in right table and return back to left table. So all of the values from left table will be saved. And finally, let's close the bracket And the last thing we'll give is the data frames variable that contains the list of the data frames we need to merge. So once done, let's do a head to see the rows. So let's do 10. Let's run the code, and you can see the total values saved are from 41, 25, 37 and 65. Keep in mind that the values that have been retained are from our first table. So for example, if you look at this one, the values it had were 41, 25, 37, 65. Keep in mind that 55 was gone because this was not in the leftmost table. So we have some nans here. So for example, if you look at this one, we don't have the customer name for our value that is 65, so it has nan here. And similarly, we don't have product name for row 37, order 37, so we see product, yeah, so we don't have 37 here, which is why it's giving nan here. Alright, so this wraps up our video on how to merge more than 2 or 3 data frames in one go using reduce function of functools library of Python pandas along with the merge function. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the content and learned something new. Till next time, happy coding.